This is very typical. And in a typical enterprise, I would almost multiply this 10x or 20x. That's the number of steps that it takes to kind of get a document through and getting something signed. As much as there is a long tail from a lead to sale, if you just trace all the paths and the teams and the people that go through this, you're going to get like a nest, like a complex spider web of a nest. And navigating that has a lot of challenges, which results in, what I'll kind of distill into 4 key challenges that as a result of all of this chaotic mess that happens. There are a lot of industries where paper still rules. How many of you've visited a doctor office where you're still signing the HIPAA declaration form on paper, where you're still filling out forms on paper, like pen and paper, right? Like like healthcare is one example. Financial services is the same thing. If you're closing a house, you're like wearing a wrist to your closing ceremony because you got so much paper to sign. So this whole thing that digital transformation is happening is yes, it's accelerating, but there is a lot of paper. None of these other 3 are going to help you with digital transformation. It's going to slow you down and actually be a roadblock for digital transformation.
I think data and documents are the most underrated impediments to digital transformation. Most people just kind of, it's easy to throw money and buy some fancy technology and say, hey, we will do this, and here is how the end user experience will be. But, the road on which your digital transformation car is going to run is a road paved with data and with documents.
And you're also like disconnected. You're doing your product entry in Salesforce. You're doing your approvals in a different place. Your documents are sitting in like Box or SharePoint or wherever. Again, multiple systems. I'm like, what's the latest version? What am I approving?
I don't have enough time to see what each one of my team members is doing. I just want some sort of a summarized version of these things. And what AI can do is, whether you look at products like, Salesforce's AI Cloud, or you look at what we do with AppExchange, you can apply generative AI, think ChatGPT for the enterprises, and you can get some version of these things, right? This is my favorite, is like you get RFPs, and now AI can kind of look at that, match it against your existing set of terms, conditions, clauses, existing offerings, MSAs, and kind of try to do a match and give you a version as the first draft so that you're not starting from scratch.
One was in Excel, other was in a Word document, a third was like a SaaS platform called OneTrust. Same information, just 3 different ways.
I completely agree with you. And I think there is a lot of opportunity, and we'll show a little bit of how, some of this can be done.
The whole reason why ChatGPT and this whole generative AI thing has become so viral and huge is built on 2 fundamental things. One, it is conversational in nature. The UI is conversation. It is not a database query. It is not clicking 10 buttons. It's a simple question that I ask. And then the second is context. How do you do compliance check? And how do you do this in a private first? It says privacy first, but private first. How do I do it such that when I am dealing with the document and I'm making changes, only I and only I can do it? And this is important because lawyers are very, very afraid of control being lost from them.
So then when we are sending it to OpenAI, what you're sending is a masked version, which has, hopefully very little or no PII, no sensitive information in there. And then OpenAI or whatever AI you use here, that model does what you asked it to do. You can do similar things for quotes. You can do similar things for literally any piece of data inside Salesforce. If you wanted to apply AI to summarize it, to do some sort of analysis and run it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run this quote comparison. And essentially what it'll let me do is I'm going to associate these 2 files with it and attach them and then hit run GPTfy. As you can see, so it looked at both of them and it's come back. And this is completely AI generated, right? It's compared all of those things, which is fine, which is just a comparison. What's interesting is it talks about the summary here.